For today's video, I decided to test the chocolate chip cookie recipes from two of my favorite YouTubers, Saffitz and Binging with Babish. Claire and Babish have very different approaches to this classic cookie. I'll show you how to bake them and then grade them with my living taste tester. This is a delicious cookie.
This one is worth taking 2 days to make it. This is not worth 2 days to make.
I mean, it's a very clear choice for me. Claire's chocolate chip cookies starts with making brown butter. 8 ounces of unsalted butter is heated over medium heat until the butter begins to separate and the milk solids turn golden brown. I ended up with 1 cup brown butter, to which I added 2 tablespoons of heavy cream cold from the fridge. At this point in the recipe, Claire cools down the mixture over an ice bath and makes specific mention that glass bowls are not the tool for the job. You're supposed to use metal, so I went with glass. It took a while, but eventually the mixture cooled down and I was able to whisk it until it was homogeneous. I then added the sugars, granulated and dark brown sugar. For some reasons unknown, my dark brown sugar was hard as a rock. It left lumps of sugar in the mixture, which I had to Hulk smash to get out. Once the mixture was smooth, I added 2 eggs cold from the fridge. And then pure vanilla extract, which Claire specifically requests for this recipe. It costs $9, and I'm still upset about it. For the dry ingredients, I mixed all-purpose flour, baking soda, and kosher salt together. Then chopped 5 ounces of milk and semi-sweet chocolate. I couldn't find the chocolate disc that Claire recommends, but by chopping the chocolate, I did achieve the dust that we're looking for at this stage. I mixed the dry ingredients into the wet and then folded in the chocolate. Using a 1/4 cup scoop, I measured the dough onto parchment-lined baking sheet, covered them, and then let the cookies rest in the fridge for 2 days. I then turned my attention to Babish. Binging with Babish's recipe also begins with brown butter. It's the same portions and method as Claire's recipe, except this time I set the brown butter in the fridge for an hour to completely solidify. With my stand mixer fixed with a paddle attachment, I creamed 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and because I learned my lesson, 1.5 cups of light brown sugar, which was a much more forgivable texture than my dark brown sugar, even though Babish uses dark brown sugar in his recipe. I mixed in 2 cold eggs. The dry ingredients are the same as Claire's, all-purpose flour, kosher salt, and baking soda, but Babby also requires an addition of cinnamon. I mixed the dry ingredients into the wet in 2 additions. At this stage, Babish adds an unknown amount of high-quality chocolate to his dough. I eyeballed it and decided to go with 8 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Babish doesn't say to portion out the cookies, so once mixed, I left the bowl of dough covered in my fridge to rest. 2 days later, it was time to bake. I started with Claire's cookies and took a bit of a risk by baking all these sheets at once, but I made sure to rotate them multiple times in the oven to ensure even baking. These were baked at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. I found Babish's dough really difficult to get out of the bowl and incredibly crumbly. I had to work the dough quite a bit to form it into a ball. Babish instructs to tear the cookie open to give it a rustic look by forming craggly cracks and crevices. This was easier for Babish than it was for me, but by applying more pressure, I was able to keep the cookie intact. Because forming Babish's cookies was such an involved affair, I opted to bake these sheets off one at a time while I worked to shape the rest of the batch. After baking them at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes, I topped the cookies with flaky sea salt. Once both batches had cooled, all that was left was the tasting and, as always, the grading using the O.W.L grading system from Harry Potter. Taste tester, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Okay, we have 2 different cookies today. One of them is by Claire Saffitz, one of them is by Binging with Babish. I'm gonna start with this one. This is a delicious cookie. Crunchy, chewy.
Good amount of chocolate.
Delicious.
Good distribution of chocolate.
All right, let's try for the second one.
All right. Is there salt on top of this? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You taste the salt.
Mm-hmm. Too much?
Maybe. The whole bottom is crispy, and so every bite you're gonna get some crispiness, which is nice. I feel like this also has like some other spices in it.
Man, I'm always impressed with your palate, man. I kind of forgot that there was cinnamon in this.
Yeah.
And
you can tell.
I can't tell. You have a very good palate. I would say that this cookie, even when I was putting it together, it's much drier. It has like a drying quality to it.
For this second one, you want a glass of milk with it.
You definitely do.
For the first one, you want a glass of water with it.
Okay.
It's so rich. So they're both, I would say, very good. This one is worth taking 2 days to make it. This is not worth 2 days to make it.
I agree.
This second one, where you break it in half, I would rate it A.
I would have rated A as well. This cookie, to me, is an outstanding cookie. This is O for outstanding for me.
No, that's right. O is the best.
Do you change then what this is? Did you mean E?
I think I meant E. E for excellent. But you could talk me into acceptable.
E for?
Excellent.
Exceeds expectations.
Excellent. Exceeds expectations.
Are you a wizard or not? If you like this video and you want to support my channel, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me out.
Notifications too.
Do you have notifications turned on?
For the channels that I like the most, yeah.
For my channel?
Oh, yes, for your.
Oh my god! You're like, for the ones I really like,
Yeah.
but.
I get an email when you upload a video.
Jeez.